Hey guys, Tim Walling here with SC Legal Carry. Now, this is a Sig P320. This is the gun portion of it. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to change out the trigger, the spring, some of the sears in here with the Gray Guns competition trigger. So I got the Gray Guns competition trigger that I ordered, the P320 ST system, the competition straight trigger system here. So I've already popped this out of the gun. Now let's pop this open. I pulled the trigger out a little bit earlier. The trigger's here. I want to do a little painting and work on the trigger. And here are the parts that we're going to change out that comes with it. So I put a piece of tape down. I've labeled the Sig and the Gray Gun parts so that I can kind of lay my pieces out, don't get them mixed up. I am going to attempt to do this in a way that you guys can see what I'm doing and what I'm changing out here. So I want to kind of set my, well, they're rolling everywhere. I may have to get some more tape and secure them. So I want to get my pieces out here that I got to change. Get them laid out so I can see what I've got. That way I don't mix them up as I take them apart and end up putting the Sig parts back in here, okay, as we take this apart. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to pop this trigger out right here. And the way we do that is we don't want to bend this spring, so let's be easy with this spring. We just want to pull to me, come to me and up. See how that's popped out there a little bit? Let's see if that's enough room to pull this trigger. This trigger goes forward and then comes up. There we go. So our trigger comes right out. Lay our trigger down. Now you just take this. You've got your this is your slide stop. See, it's caught underneath the slide stop there. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to pick it up over that, kind of finagle it around a little bit. There we go. Comes right out. So let's pull this off. Lay our trigger bar down. Look how our spring is on here. Spring comes in from the back. In from the back. So let's see if that'll focus in there. So what I mean is we'll tilt it this way to take it out. So we put it back in. We'll hook it from the bottom and pull it right around like that, okay? So that's the way it'll go back in. We'll take this, let's lay it up here on the Sig section because here is the Gray Guns part that we're going to put back in. We'll turn it around and orient it the same fashion, the same way. Now, we want to take out this is the safety bar here. So we want to pop that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this forward. It's going to come this way. And my slide catch is going down. So we want to push it down and forward. Well, we want to actually move it over here just a little bit to get it out. So maybe we'll go ahead and pull our slide catch out, okay? So this pin, turn it around this way. So we're going to take the slide catch out. So this pin, you just pull it, and it comes straight out. All right, so this is one of the Sig parts. We're going to stack it up here. Now there's a spring up underneath here. Let's not lose that spring. So let's pull that out nice and easy. There goes our spring and our little cam tried to run away there. So I'm going to set it right up here. I'm going to capture this. Well, it fell through, but I got it. So, gonna go in just like this. So you see that springs here. The little cam is up here, so your cam is facing the top. We're going to set that down just like that so those pieces stay oriented the same way. Now we should be able to move this part a little bit easier, okay? So I'm going to pull it towards us and over, towards and over this way a little bit. Just going to have to go down and over a little bit. There we go. There we go. Now it's moving free that way. So when you look under here, it's coming this way. All right, so we've got this piece, safety bar here, I guess. We've got it pulled over to the side. Keep it over there. Now we're gonna reach inside here. Little dental tool, we're gonna grab that spring, pull that spring forward. We should be able to get that out. Still got a little pressure on it. There we go. All right. So what we did is we reached inside there. If you guys can see in there, there's a little spring right inside here. I pulled that spring this way and it released this bar. This bar was behind that spring. So we can take that bar, lay it down. Now, this pin held it in. Now we're going to push out. Let's see. All right, so this pin is pulling free on its own right here. So let's pull this one. Move this out of the way. And move this. Well, we got a place to put our parts down. All right, so we have this pin out. We're going to reuse this pin. So our main pin here is now coming out. So we're going to just put my finger on everything from the back, kind of hold it all into place. I'm going to pull this main pin out right here. So here's our replacement pins. We're going to lay this one up here with the Sig items, and we're going to change this sear out, these springs, this spring. We're going to put this little spacer in there. When we put the bar back in, I think it's this bar, we're going to slide it over. All right. So I'm not going to take it apart any further than that. I don't think it's necessary, but we'll orient this piece same way so we can see how it goes in and how this one went in. So we have got several springs here, and these springs are to replace these. So these are a little heavier springs. We got some little lighter springs we're going to put back in its place. 2 sets. So we got double sets of springs there. I guess it is just a spare set that comes in there. They all seem to be the same length, same thickness. So let's set this down. Now, oops, sorry, take my hat off. I keep bumping the camera with it. So we're going to take this piece. To hold these springs on, I'm going to put a little bit of grease on here. This is just some alpha gel sauce. I want to put right here. Just a tiny bit. And we'll just rub it in. Okay, orient it the same way. Grab a spring, pop it on here. One. So this is the gray guns, this is the rear pin. It's going to slide in here. Folks, stop right there. I put the pin in on the wrong side. I actually put both of those pins in from the wrong side. I had to pull them back out and turn them around and insert them on the other side of the gun. So don't make that mistake. Remember, insert the 2 pins you see me install in the opposite side of the gun. So we'll put the pin in. We'll take this. You can see the little hook right here. The hook here. This piece has got to face up. So we're going to catch it here like this. Lower it in. See if we can get it back on this pin right here. All the way through. Falls all the way. All right. The bar's out of the way. Set it in there. So there we go. I know it's really hard for you guys to see. So we got this piece, this little cam sticking back up here. Seated all the way in. But it's got to go back. This little cam here, it's got to go back on your large rod, okay? So we'll press it through just a little bit more to hold it in place. So now what we got to do is, you see this opening right here? So we're going to push this large cam back out this way. There's 2 little places right in here where those springs are going to go. These 2 springs on this piece that we prepared. So we're going to back that cam out just a little bit. Okay. So I don't want to knock this piece off. I don't want to knock this off. But I want to take this piece. Hard to get my hands on it where I need it. Almost there. A little bit more of a turn. Almost dropped it. There we go. Okay. So this piece has got to drop right back in. So it looks like it's going to go, the large section here is going to go right over top of this large pin. I need to get my springs lined up in the back. Line my two springs up. Slide them in. I want to go over top of that cam there. Nice and gentle. So we're getting this piece into position. There we go. Okay. So I can feel this in position because I can press down and my springs are letting it wobble, and I just let it out of there. Let it pop out from underneath my finger. Alright, so that one's got to stay in. Keep my finger there. We're going to take this small pin and we are going to try to let it slide right through. We need to catch this piece with it. Maybe we can use this and guide it through from this side. Once again, that pin is going in on the wrong side. Put it in from the other side. Pressure down there. You just got to find that opening for it. Okay, all right. So this second pin, so your first cam is being held by the large one. The second cam here is being held by this little small one. So this one's up above it. I finally got this one to rock through a little bit. Now we just need to get it to come on through there. It went, snapped in, come out over here. So now it has secured right here. See how springy that is? Nice and springy, so my springs are in position. I realized my mistake and I turned those two pins around and put them in the proper way. I used my punch and I inserted it through this opening to this little cam or this pin that goes in here. Pushed it in that way, worked it around, pushed this pin all the way back through. Got this pin back through. So now that we've got all these back in place, let's test this. Make sure that actually has some little relief to it when it moves. This little cam right here moves forward and backwards, okay? So a large pin in, and we have our pin has a flat head on it so it can't go any further. We want to hold this pin out for now. Let's put our safety back in, okay? So it goes. Keep that pin out. It's going to go here. So it goes, it actually sits like this in the gun, okay? So what we need to do is tilt it. It goes inside and under, okay? And then it's going to tilt. So it's going to tilt like this. Let me try to put it down. See, it's going to tilt like that because this piece has got to go in this hole here. There's an opening with a spring in it, we're going to catch that spring and peel it back out of our way. Once we peel it back out of the way, we're going to pop this bar into position. Okay, so I push this piece back into place. This black bar goes to your safety. Pushed it back over. You can see here how it goes flat against the frame, comes around, hooks right around this edge here, okay? So we got it back. So now it's a little springy in there. Our spring right inside here is back out of the way. When you turn it over, our cam still works, nice and springy. This one is loose. This one is free, okay? All right. So next thing that we're going to do is, let's go ahead and put this piece back in place. So we just slide this up. Remember, this takes up our slack in our trigger. So now we got to put it on. Really hard for you to see what I'm doing here, isn't it? So I'm going to slide that up a little bit, rest that right on top of it. Try to push that pin through. Push that pin right through that tube. Got it centered up. And now we're going to just kind of give it a little tap to secure it. Okay, it's re-secured back into place. A little bit of movement there. Everything's still functioning and working. All right, so let's turn it over. You got two notches here. This is where, this is your takedown. That is your slide stop. It is really late. Remember, you've got your springs here on your takedown with your little cam up inside there. And it's just going to gently lay back in. Now, so it's got to line up with the hole right here. All right, so you got your cam. Now, look where your pins, all your pins went through this way, okay? They came in this side. They came in and went this direction. Your trigger bar goes over here. So we want to put this pin in the same way. Set it up there. Now let's just press down a little bit on the magazine release. Not the mag release. We want to press down a little bit on the slide lock. And it should pop right in just like that. Slid right through. We've got to get it through on this side so it's all the way through. It's flush here, flush here. Okay? Now, your trigger drops in over here, so your pins go in on this side. Trigger drops in here, pins go in this way. So all the pins go in this way. Your trigger drops in, tilt it over. All the pins go this direction in it. So we lay it back up. And now it's time to put our trigger bar back, right? Yep, these are the spare parts, the springs. This one up here was the Sig one. So it will hook. All right, so let's see if you can see this. You see the hook comes around. Let me lay this down. So the spring comes around and hooks this way. Comes around here and goes that way. So that little hook will come in here. So remember, it's coming down and hooking back up. So go down and go under and hook it right up inside there. So once we get that, I pulled it back out. Be easy with this. Do not force it. Do not force it. So once we get that piece, we're going to come in here. Your trigger bar is going to go back on And let me just kind of lay it up there. So it's going to sit just like this on it. So it goes just tilted at an angle and slip it right back in the edge of this pin, this spring. Slide it up in there, tilt it back around, it locks into place. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this trigger bar, let's catch it here, and we're going to just pull it backwards. We're not going to go all the way in. We're just going to push to me and back a little bit. I just want to snap it into place. It has to stay out. See how it's not all the way in? See that? Trigger bar's way over here. Don't put it all the way in yet. Hold on to it. We're going to take our trigger. We're going to drop our trigger in. It can only go in one way. Drops in at an angle. Notice my trigger is at an angle like this. It's going forward. As I go down, I'm going to bring my trigger bar in. There's a little notch right here on the back. It's got to drop in that hole. So it's forward. As it comes down, we are going to line this up. I want to get that trigger. I want to get that to snap into position before we take this back all the way in, okay? All right. Once you get your trigger slid in, get your bar connected, notice we're still outside back here. So this piece is sticking out. So we're going to pull it out and forward. It's got to go inside that little groove right there. Okay? So it fits right up inside there. You can see that in there. Fits right down in there. So now that we've got it in place, trigger's ready to go. All our pins are back in. Slide release is back in place. We have our pin here, our spacer. Going to take the play out and the over travel out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of oil, put a little oil on this real quick, okay? So let's drop it back in. Trigger goes in first. Put your back in, snap it down. Give it a little push there. Our old trigger. Our gas pedal. Alright, got her flat. Try to keep some of the oil off of here. Let's put a little bit. Go now. Let's put it back together. Slide lock it all the way forward, forward, slide lock it, let it go. And there's our trigger. Reset. So it's supposed to take up some of the over travel, but not a lot left. There's a little bit. Pull it at fires. Reset. Wow, it's got a really short reset. And as long as you don't let go, you still got a little bit of movement, but fires. All right, let's see what the trigger weight is now. Let's get right about here, give it a little pull, and straight back. 3 1/4. So 3 pounds and what? 3 ounces, 5 ounces right in there on it. That is a really light trigger pull on it. The reason I have the tape on it is I'm fixing to make a holster for it, and I took the optic back off, and you've got a little piece right here with a spring in it that I didn't want to lose, so I just put a piece of tape on it holding this on so I didn't have to screw it back in position. So I'll see. Hopefully that video turned out and you can see how I put the competition trigger in here, and maybe I'll be able to post the video. So take care, everybody. Be safe. Remember, don't push your responsibility as an adult off onto a child. Buy gun locks and gun safes. Lock your guns up. Take care, everybody. Till next time, be safe.